Hey, it's Ethan from Zimmer Labs, and this is Corey's custom shop-made lightsaber that I just finished repairing. He sent it to me. He made this himself at a machine shop. It is, as you can see, essentially all aluminum. A tiny bit of brass here and there. Initially it had a tri-Cree that was blue-white. But we upgraded to a RGB just to give him the full range of colors. And then it had nothing else inside of it because the build that he did ran into some electrical short problems and he ended up just gutting it. So the only thing that was left was the heatsink for the LED and the switch and recharge port. So basically it was just a straightforward rebuild, reinstall. So let's show you guys. Just start off by turning her on. We've got a recharge port here. But what I did was I made the kill key into a nice little brass switch. So, on, off. On, off. And of course if you want to pull it out you can, but then you run the risk of losing it. So if you take it out and put it in your pocket, whatever, that's fine. But then if you lose it, you want to pull the battery out so that the saber doesn't run itself down. But either way, real quick battery saber maintenance and proper practices with any lightsaber like this that's running a high power LED or NeoPixel strips, the driver boards that are in there, pretty much all of them without exception, are going to drain the battery no matter what unless you cut power from the battery to the board. So you need some sort of actual physical switch, or you need some sort of circuitry to do that for you. We've got a nice blue illuminated anti-vandal switch here. We've got some cutouts here and some brass piping inside and a power crystal here, a kyber crystal, which is illuminated to match the blade. And that's something that Corey actually did. He built that, which is pretty cool, pretty impressive. Now, let's see. One of my favorite parts of this saber is blade insertion. So we've got a Luxeon style blade with 30 to 50 wraps inside here, and it is mounted to this custom shop-made threaded aluminum socket, I guess you could say, and then the inside here of the emitter is also threaded. So to install the blade, simply slide it in and screw it tight. And this is great because if this is a dueling saber, I'm not sure if he's into that or not, but if it's meant to be a dueling saber, then this is going to be a really stable, really sturdy connection. As you can see, it's got a ton of threads. It's got about 3/4 of an inch of thread, so once this guy is screwed all the way in, it is really in there. So you can whack it around good and, you know, ferociously and not have to worry about it coming loose. To begin with, we've got a nice bright blue blade. And this is a new blade that I made for the saber just because the one that it came with, the one that Corey initially made, was pretty beat up, and the wrapping inside there had some really funky horizontal hash marking going on that kind of made it look weird. So I just wanted to make sure it had, you know, the best blade I could give it. Because especially with a Luxeon saber like this, to get the best brightness and the best consistency and evenness throughout the whole blade, you really want to do them right. But these are fun, you know, we're so used to NeoPixels now that these old Luxeon blades are almost a treat nowadays. You know, you can kind of forget just how bright they are. they're plenty bright. And if you build them right, with lots of wraps, they can be pretty even from the emitter all the way up to the tip. Part of doing that and doing it right is ensuring that you have to have a mirror up top. Lots of wraps, a nice, neat wrap job, ensuring that there are no like kinks, wrinkles, or folds in the wrapping film, and getting the right film obviously is important too. And then cutting it precisely on the end, because what you're doing essentially is you're making a light waveguide out of this film that's wrapped. So for every single wrap of film that goes around here, the more you add, the better to a point. Every one of those wraps is a light waveguide, and the light shines directly in it at an angle straight into the tube, and if you use the right film, it will shine right into the edge, and then it will, the film itself will act like a lens, and it will travel up the length of the blade vertically along that sheet that's wrapped inside there through the side. So that is why this blade looks so good, because it's got a ton of wraps, so therefore a ton of lensing, and a really nice clean cut, and then a nice clean, unscratched, undamaged mirror on the very tip here. Now you guys may also say, hey, where's the blade tip? That looks kind of funky. What's going on with that? And to you guys I will answer, here is the blade tip. And the reason I took it off is because that's what it looks like when you put the blade tip on. It literally is exactly the same as just holding it to the end, because there's a mirror right there, and that mirror catches the light and bounces it back down to fill up the top end of the blade here, where the light would otherwise get a little bit dimmer. So does that look good to you? I mean, personally, I think this looks terrible, having any shape of any sort of blade tip on a Luxeon blade. It's not illuminated. It's just this thing sticking off the end. So to me, especially if you don't realize that there is no blade tip, this just looks like a lightsaber blade that's illuminated top to bottom perfectly. And unless attention is pointed to it, you won't even notice that there is no tip on there. Or at least I submit that you won't. So that's why there is no tip on this blade. This is a one button setup, something I should point out too also for Corey's information. So it's just this one button that controls everything. So to turn it on, just a simple press. To turn it off, press and hold until it shuts off. To toggle to the next blade, you can either press, hold, and smack it.
Lower battery.
I take it back. Press, hold, smack. No, that starts the audio player. Now let's quickly change the battery. So this guy has just a very simple generic semi-universal chassis going on inside here with a removable 18650 battery. Just pull on the pull tab here. Any protected or unprotected button cell 18650 battery will work. We've got a couple of key power batteries here. These are perfectly good lightsaber batteries, especially for a Luxeon saber. All your wiring comes straight out the top of this chassis here, and then it twists and winds all the way up to the top, so that way it has spring to it, so it goes back and forth without putting stress on the actual wires itself. So what you don't want to do is unwind it, because then the wires will get all mangled up and twisted up inside. So ideally, if you take this out, just want to take a quick look inside and make sure that you can still see that the wires are twisting and they're twisted together in a nice coil formation like that. Doesn't need to be a super tight coil, but just enough that the wires have a tendency to want to coil up as they compress towards the top. And that, like I said, that will keep the wires from getting bunched up or crushed. USB and SD card are right here on this end. You can connect it up with a USB, micro USB cable here. There's enough room to get right in there. And you can pull that SD card out with some tweezers, is the easiest way. And then once you've got your new battery in there, just kind of twist and reinstall. And then push till it starts sliding. I'm going to push it in about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. Just screw this guy up and that will push the chassis up into place. This is a white and blue Jedi Fireblade. This is a blue and cyan Jedi Fireblade. No, it's not. This is the Mace Windu color purple blade. My mistake. So let's jump back real quick. So this is the cool white and white audio flicker blade. The blue and white Jedi Fireblade. The blue and cyan Jedi Fireblade right here. Next up is that purple blade. And we've got next up we've got a yellow white audio flicker with blue effect contrast blade. And this looks really cool in person. That blade color is super intense. It almost looks like an orange yellow in person, but it is a super bright white yellow, and then it's got a super high contrast effect color. Next up is red. Vader sound font. Fireblade. And Luxeon Fireblades are pretty cool. I don't think I've actually even really ever seen one before this because I so seldom build Luxeon sabers that I don't think I've had really any opportunity to see a Luxeon Fireblade before. But this is a standard red to yellow Fireblade with a really overdone clash and lockup and other effect color. And back to the beginning. So that is essentially it in a nutshell for this guy. Remember, turn it off with the kill key. If that light is turned off, then you know you're good. If that lights are on, then you know no matter what your battery's getting drained. So just make sure you turn that. That's about it. If you need to recharge this guy, you can either take the battery out from the chassis and put it in a lithium battery charger, or you can use a 2.1 millimeter adapter recharge wall plug, or a 2.1 millimeter recharge adapter that connects to a lithium charger, which I can include if you want, Corey. Just let me know. And that's about it. Other than that, this guy is all set. Nice and efficient and powerful. Lots of runtime, lots of volume, lots of brightness. And that is about it for today. You guys stay tuned. I have a whole bunch more of new lightsabers coming. Thank you, as always, for watching.